This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Welcome to the Sound of Gold. I love doing this every Monday. This show is based on music. I have my cat here, one of my cats. This show is based on music. I am a musician and a music teacher, and I believe in keeping the originality of music alive. Musicians get to play out. We entertain. Music as a music teacher, we teach to help continue keeping music alive. And in our younger generations, older generations, no matter where you are in your journey of music, it's never ending. We're always learning something. Even though I'm a teacher, I'm also a student, and I'm here in South Florida, and we have a great community of musicians, and we're kind of like an extended family. It's pretty special. So I don't know what state you're in, but I know that there are music communities. So if you are not here in Florida and you are a musician, please check out your community and find out where events are that you can get together with other musicians. It's important to be surrounded by like-minded friends, and they become extended family. So with that being said, I'm so excited about today's show because I have some dear friends of mine who are going to be joining us, who are not only musicians, but they're both of them just have so much talent that they bring to the stage. And I can't say enough about them. So please help me introduce Diane and Rick, and their band is called Chemistry Suite. Diane and Rick, are you guys backstage?
Here we are. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, great to see you. Thanks for making the time today to be on the show.
Absolutely, without a doubt, no problem there. The band is called Chemistry The Suite.
The Suite. Okay, my bad. Okay, Chemistry
yes,
The Suite.
Chemistry / The Suite. I know, no one ever really gets it right, but anyway, nice to be here. Thank you for inviting us.
You bet. You bet. No, I was thinking this morning, Diane, when I was out for my walk, I'm like, we've known each other over 15. It has to be over 15 years.
I was wondering, too, how long. I was thinking the same thing. I think it's 18.
18 years?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, you're a dear friend of mine. With that being said, I'm not saying this just because you're my friend, but I'm saying it because, I've seen so much growth in you, because both of us, we've both been involved in the arts as far as, acting, and we've been involved in music, but I've seen, as on the sideline, I've seen you grow so much as a person in talent, and you've really spread your wings. And I'm so excited that you and Rick are here today, because I want to share with the audience, being a musician, you don't just show up on stage and play. And you're not born with gifts. Even myself, I was not born to play piano. In fact, when my parents signed me up when I was 5 years old, I hated it. I hated to practice. But it's brought me to where I am today. So, but this is not about me, it's about you. I want to hear from both of you. Starting with Diane. Diane, what's your journey been with music? Where did you begin? What inspired you to be where you are today?
Oh, wow. Well, my whole life, it started, when I was a young girl, and my father would have the radio on all the time and listen to his, Peggy Lee or, Tony Bennett, and he'd be whistling all over the house, and loving his music. And, the first I could remember with me is when I really was when Motown, came around. Yeah. And I was in like 7th or 6th grade or whatever. But oh my God, did I love that music. I loved Motown, Mary Wells, Smokey, Martha and the Vandellas, all those groups. And I used to have a little transistor radio. And I would just, walk around with my transistor radio all the time, learning all those songs and just knowing them by heart and, watching Bandstand and all that. I just love Motown. Yeah. Then I remember moving forward, like I remember one night I was having a bath. I was in the bathtub and I had my little transistor. This was, a couple of years later, and I'm listening. I said, oh my God, who is this? And it was Dylan. I had never heard him. That was the first time I heard him in that bathtub on Oakwood Drive in Fairfield, Connecticut. And wow, that changed it for me. Then all these artists started coming, at the same time, like, Joni Mitchell and, Laura Nyro and, oh my God, all those, then a little further was like, let me see, I was in Connecticut, and I remember one day I just went to the local music store and I bought a guitar. I bought a Yamaha guitar. I remember I paid $100, and I came home and I said, Mom, look what I bought, and this started me, playing music. And I found a guitar teacher, in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and I would go there, and he taught me all my first position chords. And then I moved to New York City, and I spent most of my adult life there. And I got with a guitar teacher there, Ronnie Lee, he was in the Philharmonic, New York Philharmonic. He taught me so much theory and, jazz chords. And I mean, he really pushed me. And, then at the same time, I started taking voice lessons, I'm thinking of the Ansonia Hotel. Oh my God, a landmark. I had a voice teacher in the Ansonia Hotel. But yeah, I always, learned. So I took many lessons. I spent a lot of time, and I just loved the instrument. I just loved all the music that started coming out, the Woodstock, all of that. And then I was so lucky to be with music people in New York City, and would go, all around, Steve Paulsine, I mean, all these places, CBGBs, everything. And it was so easy to meet people back then. There wasn't a lot of security. It was all, it was awesome. Dancing with Richie Havens. And, it was just so easy to talk with each other back then, So that's what I did. And then, of course, you can't make a living from this. So I was in the fashion business my whole life, but I still always, even when I traveled a lot during that business, and I bought a traveling guitar, and I would be in my hotel room, playing the guitar. And I really didn't do anything professionally, what I did was open mics, a lot of open mics in Manhattan, and that's why fantastic people, and just started, playing a lot at these open mics, and I don't know how much time we had. We came to Florida and continuing to go to open mics, and, Double Roads open mic, and just started playing and learning, and, just really got into it like I never did before. I just love it. And I went full force, and I was just working like part-time then. So, yeah. So, I think I should probably let Rick talk, and then, I'll get back to how he and I hooked up if you want, But.
But I want to again compliment you, which I did earlier. I've seen you grow. I've seen you come such a far way. I don't know if I'm speaking proper English, but what I want to say to even like our listeners out there is that if you have this dream to play an instrument, like dive in full force and give it everything you've got. And like you said too, you don't always necessarily make a full-time living off of it, but you can make some money here and there performing or teaching, like myself. But yeah, it's a passion that lives on forever because you never stop learning. There's always something new to learn. There's always, and as a musician, spending time around musicians, we inspire each other. It's so beautifully like knitted together.
I know. I just love the whole thing. I mean,
Yes.
I play like, all the time. I could play 3 hours a day, and because I'm not working.
Easy, yeah.
But and always learning, always on top of it with learning. And now you have things like YouTube. If you want to just find out, what are the chords to this, or how is that one playing it, you just have to go on YouTube. Which, wow, that's amazing. Or one of those apps that teaches you how to play something. Yeah, but right. So yeah, if you have the bug, forget.
That's right. Go for it.
Yeah.
Now, Rick, how did your journey start? Where did you begin with music? Like, what inspired you, and what kept you moving forward with it?
Well, I'll tell you what inspired me was my grandfather. He played the guitar. My grandmother played the drum. These are on my mother's side. So my grandparents on my father's side were farmers, and my grandparents on my mother's side were suburbia musicians. And,
right.
So that's how I got inspired. He showed me how to play my first song, my first chords. Then back home, my brother was taking guitar lessons, and then I would look at his the things that the instructor had written out, where to put your fingers and all these things. And I can tell you, my first song was Tom Dooley, Hang Down Your Head, Tom Dooley. Which is
sad song.
Pretty sad. But that's how I got inspired with my grandparents, and they had like a little band in their house. My aunts and uncles, they all dabbled with stuff, drums and things, and I can remember being a little kid and watching these, go to their house and watching them jam, and it was pretty
That's
cool.
Awesome.
And but I went for learning on my own. I never had a lesson. I always had just done it on my own, and which is, I guess, kind of a mistake, because you do things wrong, and you do them a whole bunch of times, and you learn to do it wrong.
Yeah.
So I learned to do a lot of things wrong. But and as you get older and you become more focused on some things. I got focused on the guitar there for a long time, and I would say in my 20s or so, and then I had a family. I had a kid, and then another kid, and then all that goes away. All the responsibilities take over the not wanting to waste time playing the guitar. Not that it's a waste of time, but that's the wrong word. But the other things take over, and I went many years without playing at all. I didn't pick up a guitar. And then what's really happened here I would say in the last 5, 6, 7 years, ever since COVID, I bought a set of drums, and because I was like, maybe I should be playing drums instead of guitar, because I'm not really a great guitar player. I don't know what people think of me in the.
Well, you play the cajon.
I could play cowboy chords, and I'm not a lead guitarist. I'd love to be a lead guitarist, but I think deep down inside, my passion is really the drums. And I bought a set of drums during COVID because, we weren't driving to work. We weren't eating out. I wasn't eating out all the time. And so next thing you know, I got all this money in my checking account that I hadn't spent on life. And I bought drums, and I just loved it. And I play them every day. That's like one of the first things I do in the morning. I get up, I play drums. And they're electronic drums, so I'm not bothering the neighbors or anything, right? So
sure,
that's a good thing. And then I have a friend. Well, I have a lot of friends.
That's good.
Carlos in the band THC. I saw him play a cajon one day, and I was I was like blown away. This is before I started playing the drums, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. That's a cool instrument. And I ordered one, and I started banging on it. Everyone's, I don't know, like they tease me and say it's like grandma's shoebox. I don't know if that's real. Yeah, out there. So that was, to me, was fun, and that's a musician, and being a musician, and actually trying to, because I'm also retiring, so I never thought I'd ever make enough money from being a musician to make a living. So, in fact, this is my last week of work. Friday,
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So, playing the drums is really what I like, and playing guitar is like secondary for me.
Okay.
But that's what I do the most with Di is I play the cajon, and I play a few songs, and we split the load kind of. She does most of the singing and most of the guitar playing.
But you sing as well.
I'm sorry?
You sing as well.
Yes, yeah.
I said, Rick, you have to, when we met, you have to sing, because he wasn't singing. He was just playing, the cajon and the guitar sometimes. I said, he has a great voice.
Yes.
A distinct voice. And I said, you really need to sing. So now he sings. But I mean, it's really, great to have that. I wish I had a voice like that you could really, tell who it is, right?
Right.
Something like, no, he really has an awesome voice. So yeah, his vocals are a strong point,
You're embarrassing me now.
No, but it's true. But anyway, you were talking to him.
I have a bunch of questions for you both, but I want to mention to our listeners, no matter where you are in life, like I just kind of like put it in a box and say life is like this book of chapters, right? We all have this journey to be on. Everybody has a story. Everybody deals with life, the ups and downs. We all do, right? Nobody's like left out of that. And we all, like I said, we all have our story. If you're a musician and you once were and thinking about going back to playing, definitely do it. Like you never lose that passion. I personally have a piano student right now who's 94. And her dream is really not to play out so much, but she takes lessons. I mean, at 94, she's like every week she's still practicing. So it's, no matter where you are in life, like there's no excuse that says, oh, I'm too old or I'm too young or I'm too busy. If you are busy, just put it on the agenda for when things like settle down a little bit, because we always make enough time for what we enjoy to do. Yeah. Right. When it comes down to, right. It's almost like when we make phone calls to friends, like, oh, we haven't talked to you in years or months. It's like, well, I was busy, but you know what, even family members, you always make time. You always make time for what's important and priorities, like what you put in as a priority. And yes, work would definitely come first because we all have to pay bills, but music is almost like it's just such a beauty to be able to play a music instrument and to perform.
It's good therapy too.
Yes,
really.
It is good therapy. Yeah. I've heard you guys play. You play, and we talked a little bit earlier via text. I know you love the Rolling Stones. You play a lot of that. Depeche Mode. I'm a huge fan of Depeche Mode. What are some of your favorites that you enjoy playing?
We have such a variety. That's why our guitar player wanted to join us, because we're just like all over the place. But we just do, we'll go from Everly Brothers to Sinatra to the Talking Heads to, Miley Cyrus, The Cure. We just really go with the songs that we really dig, and the groups that we like. We'll play a little rock, a little. Now we're doing some country songs,
Okay.
Yeah, and a little blues, So our latest thing is we're all wanting to, bring out some songs that we wrote and things like that. So just being covers. Doing covers rather. Yeah. So we could go anywhere. We British Invasion, whatever. When he and I met, I brought all my songs I've known from my for
Sure.
my career, and he brought all
I
his.
brought my 5.
He brought all his, right? Yeah, right. But
Tell us a little bit about what brought you together.
Rick, you want to?
Was it music? Was it music?
I'll tell you, the whole 2020 thing, the COVID, being stuck at home and buying drums and learning to play the drums, and then as the lockdown, I don't know the right words to use.
We had to stay at home.
Eased up,
and
we started going back out again, and we were going to the old Double Road,
right.
going to the
Yes.
open mic and going to Brew House open mic. And I have a very good friend, Brett Steele, who got me to go to open mics because I could play the guitar, and she says I can sing, and so I would play with Brett, play cajon or whatever, and Brett got me to go, and so he's kind of the reason why I met her, even though because I probably wouldn't have met her. I mean,
right.
That's awesome.
So I'm there, anyway. I'm there. I love Converse shoes. I wear Converse all the time, and anybody that knows me, my friends know me. I wear Converse all the time. I have I don't have all the colors, but I have a lot of the colors.
Right.
And I do collect them. If my closet is a mess, I mean, I could make a background of my shoes. It would be really cool. But she was wearing red Converse at an open mic, and she was playing what's the song? Don't You Want Me, Baby?
Yeah.
And
Humanly.
I liked her shoes. I go, I like your shoes, and and I had black ones on. She had red ones on, and she totally ignored me though. She didn't want anything to do with me. I tried to buy her a drink. She didn't want to drink.
Then he asked me if he could play the guy part in that song, and I said, no.
No. No. And then when she tells people the story, the funniest line to me, and she goes, and then I finally let him. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I said, and then I guess I caved. You wore me down. That's what it was. Because it was a couple times going back to Double Rose, and he was on Monday nights, and he was always there. So he finally wore me down, and we went and we started to practice and play together at his house, and and we had chemistry, with things.
Yeah.
It was working nice, and so we said we thought about want to try a duo or something, and then the Garden City gave us, our first. We had learned a lot of songs. We had like a lot of songs. About
Garden City. I would notice in your other interviews you had with people.
Yeah.
Garden City's where we got started
too. Yeah.
And now it's Rusty Hook. And it's
still
nice
they're still supporting
awesome
us,
food.
right? And all of us people down here. That's right, all the musicians. So we just started from there. We worked on it, and now it's been about 6 years of us just
And Chemistry, the name of your band that came up by.
Well, we had good chemistry. It was kind of sweet chemistry. And we didn't want to just say that sweet chemistry. So we reversed it.
Taken. It's taken.
There's chemistry bands. That's right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, chemistry, the '80s band. You're right. Yeah. So that's what we started doing and playing, and we were going around seeing if we could play here and there. And I was contacting people and emailing and stopping in and everything. So the next thing was like the brew house and the butcher shop, and we started getting.
Now that's here in South Florida. Now, Diane, you also travel because you travel during the summer, so Woodstock has been your place to go the past couple of years. How is that? How is that working out with playing up there as well?
It's working out. I mean, I have to book it way ahead of time. There's many musicians up there, but a couple restaurants up there. But before Woodstock, I would go to Connecticut, and I'd play also gigs there in Connecticut. So but now it's Woodstock. I love it. I love the change. I love seeing.
Sure.
Yeah, everybody inspires me up there.
What's the difference? Now, I haven't been up there. So for friends and that are listening,
Yeah.
Right. We have our community, and I call it our extended family of musicians here in Florida, where everybody's very supportive. And if you heard in the beginning of the show today, I mentioned wherever you are, wherever you're tuning in, tap into like your community, local community, and find a group of musicians. Is it very different in New York, or do you find there's the same type of chemistry where everybody's so supportive as a musician?
Same type.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Woodstock is a beautiful thing. New York City was a great group of people too. Yeah. And anybody that comes in, you know, there's not that many people that, you don't like so much. No, they're all, to me, most of them are just great, beautiful and give you generous with what they know. They'll show you, they'll ask you to come up and play with them. Yeah, I find musicians I love musicians. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
They're great.
So wherever I go, it's easy to connect. You just find out, where's the open mics, or, they have a fabulous one in Woodstock called The Colony. It's been there forever. I mean, you get one song a night. There's like 60 people, you put your name in a hat and they pick it out, and I could be like number 35 or number 2,
Right.
But it's great because everybody's so talented. There's so many talented musicians. Unbelievable.
I'm sorry, I cut you off.
As you know, I said,
yes. One of the biggest reasons that's drawn me to do this show is because I have such a passion for being the voice behind musicians. Not just because for no reason, just because I'm a musician, but the fact that there is so much talent in our communities. We grew up with, like David Bowie and Bob Dylan. Oh, they got such a big name. They're so talented. But you don't have to have you don't have to be that icon to be talented. You can be a phenomenal musician in your own community. And what we forget is that even as musicians, and I call it our extended family, we feed off of each other. We inspire each other because we learn from each other and we grow from learning from each other. And so my point is that I want to continue to be that voice for us musicians that aren't the icons of like David Bowie and Bob Dylan, but I want to keep the fire alive because, it doesn't matter what town you go to or what state you're in, you will find a music group and you will be welcomed. I mean, I think that first time, we all fear, including me. Remember, I couldn't even get on stage to play.
The fear, right?
The fear is just so crippling, but I promise you, you get the support and the love that you need, and you'll get to that point where you're like, all right, I'm going to step it up and do it for yourself. Don't step up and perform for other people because you want to get not for the getting noticed or be recognized, but do it for yourself first. Because when you focus on your heart and on who you are as a person, you have a gift to share. If you can play an instrument, if you can sing, I mean, that's a huge gift you not only give to yourself, but you give to the community. But definitely put yourself first when it comes to who are you showing up for and who really cares. Like nobody, I don't know anybody here. Well, sometimes that's even better, do it for yourself.
Yeah. I know about that, your passion for the music. I know it's not about getting the next gig, right? I mean, I just love picking up my guitar and playing and, playing with Rick. And I love our Tuesday and Thursday night practices with our, guitar player. I mean, it's like the best night. It's great. This stuff, things come up that, oh, wow, oh, yeah, do it that or whatever. I mean, we just really all feel the same about, music. And, you're right. Do it for yourself first.
Yeah, do it for yourself first, and you'll find your niche.
Yeah, what you're supposed to do with it, right? Yeah. Look at you.
Like you said,
I taught for a little while in New York, kids guitar,
Okay.
But it wasn't really. I don't know. It didn't work for me. or I didn't stay. I just, I don't know. I just did it for a year. So, but yeah.
But
I know
that's
you're a
fun.
wonderful teacher because you've taught aura, and yeah, it's a little girl that we know. Anyway, so yeah.
So what would you say? I want each of you to share with us, for our listeners, something about your journey. Like, what have you, Diane, first, what have you learned about your musical journey that if you knew when you started, you would have maybe had an easier time getting out there?
Oh, my thing is about the nerves and the fear, like you.
Right.
Oh my God, it's just terrible. I mean, we studied together, with under the best teacher, and it was the same thing. I've been so nervous all my life, and yet I choose these things to do that are like, people's friends say to me, "Why do you do this to yourself?" When I first started doing open mics, I'm like sick, and my leg shakes, so what would I do about that? Well, really not. I still am very nervous. I mean, you can't tell. People go, well, I really can't tell. I really almost could, throw up. I'm
so what keeps you from doing that? What do you mentally tell yourself?
I go through all these things like the breathing, you do that sort of calms you down a lot. And you just have to say, people are really not judging you or staring at you. They're kind of thinking about themselves. I mean, there's, they're watching you and everything, but they're not intensely, listening to everything you're playing or singing, and so I have to realize it's just, just get up there and have, like they say, have some fun and try to relax. So it's gotten a little better, but I still could have really bad bouts of anxiety. Yeah.
It's so true. We get so caught up in what people think of us. But the truth is that everybody is so caught up within their own head, worrying about what other people think of them, that they're thinking of us. But no, they're worried about themselves first. And we forget that.
Plus, we're background, really. We're really background music in a restaurant, or, it's not a show. We're not putting on a concert. You just go in there and having, adding to the atmosphere a little,
Right.
So you have to, be really, level yourself and be humble and, realize it's not about you, really, but we just love playing, and wherever we can get to play, we're going to continue to do that, I would think. I mean,
absolutely.
I don't have 20 years left or anything, I don't think.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
I don't
know. Rick, what would you share with our audience if you could tell your younger self before the kids, when you were playing, or even your present self? What would you?
Well, if I could go back in time and whisper to myself, I would say play the drums. But to anybody looking at playing any musical instrument, practice. I mean, it's practice all the time. Just I just helped a friend lend him a guitar. He moved here from Singapore. He's my replacement. And I gave him a stand. I gave him a guitar and a case and a stand. I said, now when you get home, put the stand in the living room, put the guitar in the stand. Don't put the guitar in the case. No. And he's like, why? And I said, because if the guitar is sitting there, you're more likely to pick it up and play it. If it's in the case, you're like, you may not want to be bothered getting it out of the case. Yeah. But if you can just walk over and pick it up and start playing. So that would be my advice. Make your instrument handy. Make it so you can just pick it up and play and practice.
Yeah. There's a lot of discipline that goes into practice. I think I mentioned this in previous shows. It's work. But it's not the kind of work like, you got to go clean the cat litter or, take the dog for a walk and pick up after the dog. It's not like that kind of, I mean, even though we love our animals, and we probably don't really think of that too much, but, it's a passion. And even for myself as a musician, as a teacher and a piano player, I'm still a student. I still take lessons, but there are some days where I'm like, I haven't gotten to the piano yet. I have to like make myself go to the piano, and I walk by it all day long. But it's like I have to force myself to get there. And once I get there, I'm like, oh, all right, you know what? It's no big deal, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a matter of, like you said, leave the guitar out, have it obvious, have it be like kind of in your way, so that it's a distraction to get your attention.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. It's all about playing a lot.
Now, right. You said Tuesdays and Thursdays you guys practice, so it's only 2 days a week that you practice?
Yeah, but it's, you know, they're good practices. There's, you know, 3 hours on, and twice a week.
Practicing every day.
But he and I, Rick and I practice every day.
But with
every
Bob,
day,
our guitar player, we practice twice a week.
I mean, we at least do an hour. We have what we call it. Let's do a tiny. What's a tiny? A tiny is like where he'll do 4 songs and I'll do 4 songs. You know, I'll be on cajon for his 4, and we do it, and it helps so much. You don't have to have this big, you know, practice all the time. If you do 4 songs one day, next day do another 4. Yeah. So we go. Let's have a tiny. What time you want to have a tiny today?
Excuse me.
Anyway. But the big practices, you okay?
Yeah. I do. Do you find that, in fact, I have it right here. Do you ever think of practice time as intimidating?
Sometimes if we're going to go over like certain new songs that we're doing, I might practice them by myself first, you know, at home before I go to the practice with Rick and Bob, you know, because I don't want to be a total, you know, dummy about it. Yeah. So sometimes I get a head start on it. Yeah. Yeah.
And then do you ever find in practice, Rick or Diane or your guitar player, do you bring something more to the table where it's like what you originally thought you were going to play, you kind of envelop into something more?
Sure. We're always listening to each other. You know, we respect each other, you know, as far as that goes. So we're open, let's say, open-minded to, you know, do it this way or do it that way. Definitely. Yep. Yep.
Sorry. And I know you recently played.
Pardon me? What did you say?
I said, I know you guys recently played.
Yeah, we played Friday, this past Friday. Yeah, at Rusty Hook. It was a good one. It was the place was jumping. It was alive. Everybody was having a good time. You know, food there is delicious. So yeah, it was very upbeat. You know, it was nice.
Good. Yeah, we'll have to try it out. We still haven't been there since they changed owners.
Oh yeah,
we've been there to advertise ourselves, but we haven't been there to eat.
Okay, you will enjoy. They do not disappoint. Definitely.
Well,
yeah,
sorry
there. Yeah. So going forward, we just had a cancellation, which was at a new place because they stopped music on that particular night. So that was like a bummer, but she's scheduling us going forward on another night. But yeah, it's hard, you know, it's difficult getting gigs. There's a lot of good people, a lot of players, and not, you know, that many venues, right? But you just have to stay on it, keep trying, you know, keep calling, and don't drop the ball. Right.
I think the biggest thing that kind of like nudges me a little bit is that, and I mentioned this in other shows too, the pay that musicians get to entertain is not a lot. And we don't do it for the pay, we do it for the passion. But those of us that are not musicians, I don't know if they realize the work that goes into what we do. However, we don't look at it as work because it's fun.
It's work. Definitely. Yeah. It's a lot of work. And you don't want to do it for free. Come on. You know, you want to, and you don't want to be insulted like they would, you know, like they say, will you just play for tips or something? No, that's not right. you know, but I mean, you know that you're not going to make a lot of money, but you want to have something that feels, you know, right, you know. So yeah, that's I think it's important. It's important for the rest of the musicians too in the community. You shouldn't, do it for nothing.
Right. I mean, if we go to the movie theater, we pay for a ticket.
Yeah.
If you go to a restaurant, unless it's like a concert, a quote unquote concert where you got to buy tickets, you go to a restaurant, there's a band playing, and the restaurant's going to play the band, and then we kind of play and make tips there too.
Yeah.
But I would just like to see in the future, it would be great if venues found, I don't know what it is, but if they paid musicians more.
Yeah. There's some that do that are like really good around here. You're like, wow, yeah. They're like, they expect to be asked, for that much. And they just say, so what do you charge for, 3 hours or whatever? Yeah. I love those. They're usually rocking and rolling places that are like, really good business and sell a lot of food and drinks. Yeah. So there's some that pay really nicely.
And then there are also places where
a lot of the problem is that some of these venues depend on the musicians to bring people in.
Yeah.
And,
I was just going to say.
We get to the point where we can't keep asking our friends to come.
That's true.
Our friends are, sure, we'll come and see it.
Yeah. Once, twice, then they're like, all right already, or what? Yeah.
Sometimes we wonder, like, and I'm like, well, how come you don't have any customers?
Yeah, like,
why do I got to bring your customers? I don't get it. Your restaurant should have its own customers,
right? And advertise and all that. Yeah, I know, because we've made a lot of money for restaurants, haven't we?
I spend a lot of money in restaurants.
Yeah, and I mean, we have brought a lot of people too. Many times where the restaurant had really good nights. Yeah, that's true. You wish they would just, oh, we're playing here tonight. We don't have to worry about.
It's fun to go play, and your friends come and see you.
And a lot of restaurants too will say, well, we will book you. From my experience, we will book you as long as you bring us business, right? Like you said, Rick. But it's like, well, if you've got the reputation and you got a good restaurant going, I shouldn't have to necessarily bring you business. I could bring more like followers to listen to our music to help make us both money. But it's like a fine line. There was an interview I had where great place, and the owner had said, show up, play. If you get, bring in some people and you bring us some money, then we can pay you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which, as a business owner, I guess that's, I understand it. But it's just, as a musician, it's frustrating. And then, like you said, it's hard, especially today, since COVID, more people are playing instruments than ever.
Oh my God,
And everybody wants to get out there and play.
Right.
And
it's
again,
so easy to learn songs and,
right.
Just go buy a guitar and you can learn whatever you want on YouTube or,
that's the way you do it.
Yeah, the apps, those apps like the
guitar on the MTV.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
And playing, again, it's not so much about the money, but at the end of the day, like you said, we don't want to play for free. Because we show up and we share our talent.
The restaurants would go to like Double Roads used to do this before pre-COVID. If you went there and there was live music that night, there was a $3 charge on your bill.
I remember that.
Yeah.
A $3 cover charge. I don't have a problem with a $3 cover charge.
Really?
If there's live music that night and you want to charge me $3 on my bill,
that's fair.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
Right. As long as you're using that money to pay the band, or I think that's great.
Yeah.
That
keeps it simple too and easier.
I don't know why they just all don't just do that. The night you have live music, there's a $3 charge on your bill.
Everybody can pay that, really. Yeah.
When Diane, you said you to connect with different restaurants. Well, actually, let me back up. For our listeners, if they want to contact you and learn more about your band, what is the best way to contact you?
Oh, we have a website, chemistrythesuite.com. And we have a Facebook page, Chemistry the Suite Facebook page. What else do we have? A Gmail or something?
Yeah, we have ctsjupiter@gmail.com.
CTS.
CTS.
Yeah. Jupiter. Yeah. So yeah, I guess the website, and then you can even hear our videos and that. But we don't have a list of where we're playing next. We're gonna work.
But the easiest would be to, that's okay, not yet. But the easiest would be to Facebook Messenger you on Chemistry the Suite.
Sure. Yeah. Right. And then of course the phone number is on everything too, right? I mean, on their website and right. Those dot cards. No, not that. No. Yeah, so we have, it's easy. Just chemistrythesuite.com, put it in your Facebook thing, will pop up.
On Facebook, we're, on facebook.com/CTS-Jupiter.
But also you could just put in Chemistry Suite. That's what I do. It comes up.
Easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
That's a lot of letters, though.
Oh, really? I don't know.
Chemistry the Suite.
All those HTTP and all those things. Forget it.
That's easy to find. Well, I'm looking at the time, and
it's been great chatting with you.
It's been awesome, and you've shared so much, a wealth of information to our listeners, our musicians out there, especially our newer musicians who are wanting to step up and step out, no matter what state you're in. If you're in Florida, South Florida, I'm sure we'll cross paths along the way for if you're listening in. And if you're out of state, definitely connect with your community and your local musicians. You will be very welcomed. And other than that, look for Chemistry the Suite on Facebook and connect with Diane and Rick there. Thank you so much, you two, for being on the show.
Lisa. Lovely to see you.
Yes, you too. Definitely.
All right. Take care. Thanks for having us.
You bet. We'll talk soon. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Again, if you want to connect with Diane and Rick, go to Facebook Chemistry the Suite, and you can find them there. Other than that, as I mentioned, if you are just starting out in your music journey, or if you're picking up where you left off, if it's been a long time, don't be afraid to step out and follow your dreams. Play an instrument. It's such a great therapy for yourself. You don't have to do it for anybody else but you. And if at some point you want to entertain other people, that's great too. But always start out with focusing on yourself and bringing out the best in you for you, because you are so important. And at the end of the day, even me, we all kind of live in our head and in our heart, and we all want to live this peaceful, happy life. And so I believe you will find a lot of happiness if you just, if you're called into playing an instrument or even singing, step into it. Don't be afraid of yourself. Believe in you, and have patience with yourself, and be kind to yourself. With that being said, I think we have another minute, and just to exit us out of our show today, I'm going to play a little bit. Please tune in next week, next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Standard Time. And you can find out who our guest is then. I always like to keep it a little bit of a surprise.